your instant reaction when you saw what happened to Orion Kerkering on the mound that led to the Dodgers walking off the Phillies and moving on to the NLCS?
My short answer is sadness. I feel for the player. I mean, you just, especially in a place like Philly that can be a little bit tough on an individual player, you hate to see two really good teams. You hate to see that game end that way because they put the right guy in the position to get the out. The game just sped up on him a little bit. He did everything he was supposed to do. He bobbled the ball. He panicked a little bit. His internal clock sped up a little bit. I mean, the right place to go to first base. After rewatching it, he would have had to make a good play to first base, but at least it would have been the correct play.
Are we able to run the sound here from Orion Kerkering? Yes? Okay, cool. Let's run that right now, and then we can react for a minute.
Just hit off my foot. Just kind of, once that pressure got to me, I just thought it was a faster throw of the JT, a little quicker throw than trying to cross body of the Bryce. So just a horse shit throw. The wall with a tennis ball for sure. But yeah, just kind of keep going with it. Hopefully it started a long career. Just keep back in my head of this really fucking sucks right now, but hopefully keep pushing and get over this hump. Keep pushing.
That's it. I can't be more proud of him for standing up in that moment and talking to the media. The language was just his honesty pouring out through it. And I just can't, I can't stand up enough for him and applaud. Like what he said was just what he felt. And I'm proud of him for that.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
I
dude,
I get goosebumps thinking about it because when you're at the top, when you make it to the major leagues and everything is going well, it's the best thing in the world. But there is a flip side of that, especially in the playoffs. The entire world was watching. It was the only game on. So to be able to get in front of the media, stand there like a professional, answer the tough questions that you don't really want to have to answer, and then the last part is just to be honest and real. And like Kratz said, the language he used and how he said it and the emotion and holding back the tears is, only going to allow him to have more fans in this world. I know it sucks right now, but it's much appreciated from someone who's, been at the top of the mountaintop, who's played in the major leagues and has had some bad moments and had to stand in front of the camera and be honest and kind of be vulnerable. And I think that's what people don't understand is baseball players and athletes are still human beings and they're vulnerable. And he did a great job with it.
The Dodgers are the second team in history in the postseason to clinch a playoff series on a walk-off error. There was one other time period. 9 years ago today, Rougned Odor's errant throw to first on an attempted double play allowed Josh Donaldson to score, and the Toronto Blue Jays swept the Texas Rangers in the ALDS. OptaStats hooking us up with that one. KP, you were there. What happened?
Yeah, I was there for it. I mean, obviously a much different situation. I mean, first and foremost, we were up 2-0. So it didn't feel like an elimination game for us, like it was just a different, we were cruising in the series. But also the double play element of it, typically when you throw a ball away on a double play, it's not deemed an error. The only difference is Josh Donaldson was at second base going to third when he saw the missed throw. He ran home. I remember it like yesterday, the head first slide, coming out of the dugout, being super, super excited that we just went on and we were going to our second straight ALCS.
One of our teammates says he has nightmares about that exact scenario that played out for Kerkering in Game 4. Trevor May said, that play is my nightmare. Kratz, you got one sleep on it. Any aftermath thoughts here?
My nightmare is I have different color socks on and I don't make it out to the game in time, but that's a different nightmare. I have no other thoughts on it. I even went back to the play that I thought of that I made in the regular season or the play that I didn't make that cost us a game. And like, there's still residual, maybe sometime I'll tell the story, but there's still residual thoughts about it. And so to have it be in this situation that Orion Kerkering had it in, It was a mistake. People make mistakes every day. It will stay with him for the rest of his life. My hope is that it doesn't define him. And I think the people around him, you already saw the sympathy, support from his teammates, the people that matter most to him. And now it's his job to say, it's not going to define me, because if it defines him, he can go down a bad rabbit hole.
Yeah, in all transparency, playing in the playoffs, I was always a little bit more concerned about this being the end result of me being in the field is making that mistake. I almost didn't want to make a mistake more than I actually want to do something great, just because, fans are so passionate. And much like Kratz was saying, hopefully this isn't a moment in time that defines him. Hopefully it's something that, he has an opportunity next year to be in a similar situation and be on the other end of it and be remembered for something great.
See, I never thought of it as, oh man, I'm going to make a mistake. And I'm glad that I wasn't like smart like UKP, where you're like, okay, I'm thinking through all the scenarios. I think my downfall in playoffs was, this is the moment. I am going to do something big. Oh, whoops, slider in the dirt. Or this is huge. I'm going to make this throw to second. Ooh, I threw it into center field. Like, I was always thinking about the great play, and I was fortunate I didn't play with the fear of it in mind. I just played with like maybe too much reckless abandonment.
No, I think that's a great way to play, though. I mean, the moment gets big in the playoffs, and the people that are able to just kind of either slow the game down or almost treat it like a regular season game, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I just, as I was in the playoffs a little bit longer, I didn't have that kind of thought, but I remember my initial postseason experience. I would be out in center field, and I still wanted the ball to be hit to me, but there was just this extra layer of focus, and I was like, don't be the reason this team loses the game.
So one other component here, the Dodgers tied the game thanks to, or at least partially thanks to Alex Call, right? He walked. And Kratz pointed out how it was a missed call. And there are many. Every single game has missed calls. This one seemed unique to me, Kratz, in that the umpire actually apologized to Christopher Sanchez. Is that normal? So here's the tweet from Lachlan March. Christopher Sanchez said the umpire apologized to him for missing the 2-2 pitch to Alex Call in the seventh, which should have been a strikeout, became a walk, and that runner went on to score the tying run.
Yes, they do. I mean, you can see on the screen, number 5 is half in the box, half out of the box. They do apologize. Umpires do apologize. JT was flummoxed when he didn't call it. Like, he went to like throw it around. Oh. And then he like turned around, which is kind of a no-no. But for the umpire to say that, to me, that gives players, it calms the players down, because they're like, okay, I get it. You missed it. Maybe today it infuriates them a little bit more, but in the moment, look, man, like, we're humans. We're not watching a video game. We're not watching robots. And when it's humans and you have the human element in there, I'm not saying I'm against ABS challenge system, because I'm all for it. The human element adds some intrigue to it and adds that like level of angst or excitement, depending on which side of the call you're on.
Yeah, I was going to say they're human beings, and I think that's where the ABS people should be in favor of it, because these umpires do care. I think the human element of it is what makes the game great. But at the end of the day, if you ask that umpire if they had the ability to challenge and he got the call wrong and they reversed it, he would be sleeping a little bit better at night. Ultimately, these guys want to get the call right. And my other point was, on my way to Toronto to cover the series, I was sitting next to an umpire that I won't mention his name, but he was there with his wife. And it just humanizes it. Like, his wife is going there to watch them. And I'm just trying to think, being in a wife's position of an umpire, you got to kind of be neutral. You don't really root for your husband who's on the field, but they are human beings with families and kids and wives. And good on him for apologizing. I know it doesn't really change anything, long term, and really doesn't really change any short term, but it does show that they are a human being and they do care.
KP, how dangerous are the Los Angeles Dodgers? They have a bona fide 1 through 4 starting pitching slate that they can throw out there series by series. The question mark can be the bullpen depth, but they also now suddenly have perhaps the best closer in baseball who went 3 perfect innings in that matchup.
Yeah, when you asked me that, I didn't want to state the obvious because we going into spring training, going into the season, if they were able to stay healthy, this is what you were going to expect from the Dodgers from a starting pitching standpoint. And obviously, they went out and signed a bunch of different guys in the back end of the bullpen that they thought were going to be dudes, but they have a real dude right now who was having trouble getting outs in AAA a month ago, but somehow the Dodgers do it again. They figure out this guy can't start. We're just going to put him in the bullpen. Oh, by the way, we're going to allow him to start closing playoff games. And not only close games, he might even pitch 3 innings. And when he's in there, he just wants to get right back on the mound.
Kratz favorite?
Oh my gosh, 100% favorite. Yeah, they got through the toughest opponent, in my opinion, from what I saw during the regular season. They're going to have to find a way to beat the Brewers or the Cubs differently than they had to find a way to beat the Phillies. Phillies starting pitching, they're not going to run up against anything like they saw day in and day out with the Phillies starting pitching. I mean, Phillies starting pitching is the all-star of the series for the Phillies. But they're going to have to be able to beat the Brewers a different way than they are the Cubs. And, I think the National League wins it. I think that's a slam dunk. But you know what? This team is firing on all cylinders and playing their best in October, what they were built for.
Actually, KP, the scariest part for opponents? A top, 3 hitter, maybe 5 on the planet had a brutal series. That's bad. That's really bad. Law of averages. It doesn't look like anything's particularly wrong. And Shohei Ohtani is not going to go 1 for 18 with 9 strikeouts in another postseason for the rest of his life.
No, I mean, that's just the depth of the Dodgers. You can go pretty much without Shohei. I mean, he in some ways, he should have just pitched. I mean, that's how bad he was, to be quite frank. But they're built for this, even to the point where Max Muncy, who is is such a great player and has so many great postseason moments, is sitting on the bench to allow Kike Hernandez, who also turns into Shohei Ohtani in the postseason. Shohei, who's in the regular season, in the postseason. It's like the Dodgers are just built for this. Like, it almost feels like the regular season games are just this extended kind of warm-up period. Let's just go through the motions. Let's check all the boxes. Let's make sure the body's feeling well. Let's get some of the injuries out of the way. And then when October rolls around, they're at their best.
Let's not be too recency biased, though. We were talking at this time last year, like, can the Dodgers get over the hump? Because this time last year, everyone's like, there's a faction of people who are like, 2020 season didn't count. I played in it. It definitely counted. And so they're like, can they get through an entire postseason after an entire actual 162? So there was questions, and they almost were eliminated by the Padres. So we were still questioning that. And now they've won it. And now the way they're looking this postseason, yeah, you're like, whoa, these boys are a juggernaut right now. And it's going to be tough to slow them down.
Yeah. Now the ultimate test is, can a team repeat? Because we haven't seen it in the modern game. It's been a quarter century. It's really difficult to do. They do have a very different looking pitching staff from last year, which I think does become a big part of things. Not the only thing, but it does become a big part of things. And many of the pitchers that they're throwing out there now didn't pitch last year in the playoffs for them. Ohtani, Glasnow, Roki, etc.